Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And there we go. Just having a quick look at my stats at the moment, make sure everything's ticking through nicely. So basically what's been going on, guys, just a little bit of an update here on why I'm suddenly streaming again. The last couple of weeks, my net has been particularly bad. It's been crap. I've had disconnections, dropouts, it's been garbage, even by my standards, to the point where it's been borderline unusable, which is why I haven't been able to keep up and complete the MechWarrior clans uploads, and why I've been a little bit slow getting Power up. And I figured it was just Aussie internet having an even more shit time than it normally would, because, you know, that's kind of normal. Turns out NBN decided to do a massive infrastructure upgrade and just not tell anybody that they were doing that, and that's why the net had gone to shit, because they were cutting and messing with the wires in the background. Yeah, last night checked my speeds and suddenly find that my speeds are 4 times higher than they've ever been. And yeah, I've got a whole new plan available that with a hardware upgrade will get me speeds that theoretically should be good enough to stream in 4K. So there might still be a little bit of stutter now. This is still my original connection on my original plan, just with the update that they've done. I did do a stream earlier on today on Twitch playing Path of Exile 2, and it was mostly fine, minus the odd bit of stutter here and there, and that was at 1080p 30, so this should be okay, at least for Power. Yeah, I thought it was NBN being NBN, but yeah, they decided to actually fix something after 10 years of asking for it. They just neglected to tell me, so I thought they'd just broken the net even worse. Alright, so we'll get something up and running here. Scenarios, and I'm feeling a little NATO-y today. So, what is that one? There's a whole bunch of these that I haven't done yet. US Army and Navy Special Operations Force are tasked with safeguarding neutral shipping lanes in the Persian Gulf. That's Persian Gulf again. There's a lot of those over that end of the world. Days in hiding with weather on our side. It's time to attack a Soviet landing force en route to... I have no idea what that is. Use the limitations of radar systems against terrain to mask your fax approach. Utilize silent... stealthy one. That could be interesting. Vulgar exercise. Missing text. I have no idea what that is. Hey Caleb, yes it has been a while. Have I seen the NTU mod? I'm not sure which one the NTU mod is. I have been tracking the mods for Power. I haven't used any of them yet. I know there's the Australian Forces mod. There's a couple that activate different weapon systems that are currently locked on certain ships. Haven't used any of them just yet. I've probably seen it, but I'm not recalling exactly what it is. Gauntlet. As part of the strategy, the Soviets seized some crucial points in northern Norway. In the first days of the war, naval holdings. Reinforce Narvik. That could be interesting. Have I seen Gunner Heat PC? I own Gunner Heat PC. I've actually been playing Gunner Heat PC for quite some time. We'll have a look at Gauntlet. I'll probably get my ass kicked on this. I haven't played this one at all. Yes, I own it. I don't have it installed currently because I had to do I had some hard drive issues, as I mentioned on the community tab a few weeks ago, or a week or so ago. But I will get that reinstalled. I haven't played as much of it as I would like, but it is very good, yes. Alright, so escort at least one transport to Narvik. So let's see exactly what we have here. So that's the objective zone. Let's check out our task force. Bergen Reinforcement Convoy. FFG-8 is our flagship. It's a Perry class. We have a Nox and 2 merchants. Actually kind of fun. But I only do it in bursts now. The monetization has just gotten too out of control on it, and it's just... Yeah, little bits here and there. Don't make it your constant game, and War Thunder's fine. If you make it your central game, your go-to game all the time, yeah, it's going to kill you at this point. How's the eyes? Actually really good. Now I've got these lenses. They appear to have stabilized, and outside of the fact that I can only see for about 10 hours a day with them in, everything is pretty good with them overall. So that is our Perry. Nox, and what are our merchants? So 2 large container ships. So yeah, the eyes are doing absolutely great at the moment, and fingers crossed, that'll be it. I just have to be fit out once every 2 years for these lenses. Hopefully over time, as they switch out of the experimental stage and into something that's more standardized, which I'm letting my information and the reports and tests for my eyes be used to show that these lenses are actually really good. Hopefully the costs will come down in that area. So yeah, I should just be fit for lenses every 2 years, and I follow a pretty rigid sequence where I don't, under normal circumstances, I don't actually put my eyes in or put the lenses in until about 10 o'clock in the morning, and then I run about 10 hours for the day. Sometimes I'll run a little bit later, but I generally try and limit myself, and that's just because if you can get overwear with these lenses where they can actually cause your cornea to inflame, and that's very bad. So I've got to be pretty controlled with that, but otherwise, I think I'm good, which is great. So what have we got? Air search radar, surface search, hull-mounted sonar, towed sonar array, ESM. It's good I've got a towed, so I have to get that out as quickly as possible. Anti-ships, missiles and guns. They're both... Oh no, hang on. Nox, Perry. Perry class is... Yeah, they're both Perry class. The Nox is the other one. Alright, so same loadouts. Cool, well, I'll get them sailing. And I close that. Should we close that? Put my fleet tab back up. Sensors. I want towed deployed.
Air search on. Radar. Surface search on. Radar eye.
Yeah, a low layer, and the second we'll get the Nox. Actually, no.
Air search on.
Air search on. Surface search on.
Radar eye.
And I want you above layer. How's our formation set? Merchants are relatively close in behind, one offside. That's okay. We can go with that. Speed 17 knots. Current time 11:11 Zulu, and 16:49 will be the first waypoint. So we're definitely going to have to do some time acceleration. We're not doing this in real time, but that's alright. We'll let that do its initial scans and make sure nothing pops up. Giving us 2 boats with towed arrays makes me think this is probably going to include submarines. Quite possibly, anyway. Am I going to be doing some DCS stuff in the future? Probably yes. I actually have to spend a little bit of time ticking along with the Phantom. It was the last thing I picked up. Had a little bit of a play with that. I've sort of been a bit burnt out on the flight sims for a little bit, but that's why I haven't been flying at all. But it's been a couple of months at least, and I've let it clear out of the system and relax. So I do want to get back in the air again. I've also got to get the new Microsoft Flight Simulator to set up and have a look at that. I'm going to get this chat somewhere where it's a little bit easier to read. Sorry guys, I haven't done this in that long. I'm a little unorganized at the moment, so I am trying to get this set up. Yes, I understand most of the US will be fairly early in the morning at the moment. I will possibly be starting to stream very early in my morning. I'm going to try and shift things around a little bit rather than late at night. I'll be honest, I'm getting old. The late night's starting to kick the crap out of me, so maybe get up at about 6, stream at 7. That should be more reasonable hours for the rest of the world. Since this is probably going to... If all goes to plan and there are no interruptions, touch all the wood that I can possibly find, I should be streaming 4 to 5 times a week coming up once this new plan is installed. And the new hardware that I need to go onto the new plan goes in next week. So, again, if everything goes as planned... Hey Peter, greetings from Germany. It's good to see you here, man. Yeah, NBN being NBN then, yep. YouTube being shit then. Less of a YouTube issue that I've had recently. It's all been the net on my end. Like, my net... Remember about 2 years ago I was complaining about the net quality, and I was looking at Starlink, but I was still able to stream Battletech. My net actually got worse from there to the point where even streaming Battletech was an impossibility. I actually got back to the point where uploading regular videos got back into the 8 to 10 hour mark to get a video up, where I used to get them up in 1 to 2. My net fell off a cliff and then went. It was horrible. I missed the good old Coles Waters videos, but let's see how this goes. So this is far more involved than Cold Waters, although you can sort of play it the same way, although some of the functionality is currently blocked. So mostly C-Power plays like a strategy, but you can assume direct control. You can do this with the submarines, you can do this with the aircraft, you can do this with the ships. You can take over them and give commands via keyboard directly if you wish. It's better not played that way. And it does require some deeper thinking because you're dealing with more units and you have far more complex objectives than just sink everything. But I like it. It's good. Right, we're going to get some time acceleration going here now. Up at 10 times. Probably a little bit farther, actually. It's not going to let me go any further than 10 times at the moment. It's probably because I've got the total raise out. That's fine. 10 times will be fast enough. As we're ticking along, gives me a chance to quickly go through the rest of these. I had cross-linking done on both eyes, and I couldn't get the painkillers because the pharmacy had shut down after my op, and that was 2 weeks was fun. Yeah, that would be crap. Cross-linking would be ideal for me. Cross-linking is fantastic. I recommend...
Contacts detected.
Okay, hang on. I will go on with that. No, hang on. I should be able to answer that. Let's just quickly check what we've got here. Alright, so 2 radar echoes. Semi-small. Both at about 3,200 feet. 76 nautical miles out. So likely hostile. I'm going to go weapons free on both ships. while we're at it, actually, the second Nox here, I should also prep a helo for launch and start getting some sonar buoys out. We have kind of announced ourselves here. They're definitely fast movers, so they're not helicopters. But yeah, anybody who's got keratoconus, I recommend, if you have the option to get corneal cross-linking done, do that first. Unfortunately, the issue with my eyes is that corneal cross-linking wasn't a thing until well after my eyes had not only been detected, but had progressed to a point where corneal cross-linking was actually not going to help me at the slightest. But if you can detect it early enough, which is why get your eye exams as often as you can, guys. Even if you think your eyes are fine, try and go in at least once every 2 years. Once a year would be better. And just get an eye checkup just to make sure everything's all good, because if they catch it early, go in, get corneal cross-linking done. It's usually just a day procedure, and it stops everything dead and you're fine. And that's it. You don't have any other problems after that. You know, as was mentioned, you might need to take some painkillers for a little bit, and your eyes might be a little bit sore for a couple of weeks, but that's where it ends. Winding up the helo.
New air contact detected. New air contact
We
detected.
have more coming in. 2 more fast movers. 57 nautical miles. You ever get a seeking suspicion that things are about to go really sideways? Great to see you streaming, dude. The TIE Fighter series was a blast in the past. Loving Sea-Power so far, and content creators have been pumping out amazing stuff with the game. It's a great game. It really is. Alright, let's get you
Roger. Turn 3, 4,
just
3.
offside for a start. God, I wish I had a carrier at this point. Alright, engage with... Do we have anything longer range? No. About there. Yeah, close enough. So that's the maximum range point for engagement. Just give myself a marker so I can use it as a reference. Do you plan on getting on Star Citizen where 4.0 drops and a full wipe happens? Well, I've got Star Citizen updated right now. I poked onto it during the recent the recent ship event. The oh god, what's it called? The friggin' whatever, where they do the ship show. I jumped on and had a look at that. I look at it every year, and yes, I am waiting for 4.0. My Carrack is prepped. Everything's ready to rock and roll. I'm waiting for somewhere to take it at the moment. It's just sort of parked there. I got a whole bunch of ships and not a great deal to do with. But yes, absolutely. You know, I still have faith in Star Citizen. Yeah, IAE, that's the one. I still have faith in it being done. I am disappointed with how long it's taking. I'm not going to lie about that. I'll be honest, I'm looking more forward to Squadron 42 than Star Citizen at this point in time. I really want a Wing Commander experience again. I've actually got half of the Wing Commander, the old Wing Commander games from Good Old Games installed on right now, and Privateer. I've been itching that much for them. But yes, I will absolutely be jumping on after 4.0. Yeah, there's been a full wipe confirmed for 4.0. Yeah, they need to. They've got to clean out all the crud that they've had over it. Alright.
Engage track 7002. Engaging track 7002.
And
Birds away,
one
track.
up.
Track 7002. Bandits, birds away, track.
Second
track
away.
7001. Birds away, track. Track 7002.
Missed. Alright.
Weapon error. No track assigned. Engaging track 7001. Engaging track
Second.
7002. Birds away, track. Track 7001.
Come on.
Birds away, track. Track 7001.
Whatever the things are, they want to get in close.
Chaff out. Chaff out.
Chaff on both. What have you got? I only got the 7s.
Engage track 7001.
Missed and
Birds
missed
away,
again.
track. Track 7001.
Alright, ship is maneuvering.
Birds away, track. Track 7001. Bandits. Track
Alright, we're engaging with guns, which is never a good side.
Vampire, bearing 48 bandits. We're vampire, bearing full. Birds away.
Damn
track.
it.
Track
Yeah, they just flew straight through everything and just took us out.
Vampire, bearing 108.
Chaff. Chaff. Damn it.
Birds away, track. Track 7002.
Damage control. Ooh, that's not good.
We're sinking. All hands abandoned ship.
They got the lot.
Contact faded. Track. Contact faded. Track.
Yep, that's a fail. They just went straight through everything.
Roger. Turn 146.
Yep, he's gonna die. There's nothing I can do about it, which means the ships are gonna be... Yep, life rafts are already off on this one. Damn it! Oh well, that does happen. We'll go through chat. Maybe Hilo drops the Sono boys are on the way. That was kind of the plans. No War MechWarrior 5 clans. I was kind of relying you to watch the story. No, it's still coming up. As I explained earlier, the net's been that bad. I haven't been able to get those videos up. They're just... it's just been too unreliable up until yesterday. That's when my net suddenly cleared up and I realized that, holy shit, I've actually got enough speed now to be able to stream. So I will be getting the rest of the MechWarrior 5 Clans videos up. I think I've got 3 more recorded at this point in time. I'm going to get those up, and then it's entirely possible. Here we go. Just insult to injury there. What are they that are flying through? Oh, MiG-23s. Actually, those aren't MiG-23s, are they? They're SU... God, what are they? SU... It's not, I'm thinking 17s, but it's not SU-17s. Oh, no, it is. Hang on, bottom left-hand corner, MiG-23s. No, I was right the first time. Damn it. Well, that is going to be a wipeout. But yes, I'm quite possibly going to stream the rest of MechWarrior 5. I'll actually play through the rest of Clans and we'll do it in a live stream. Have I played U-Boat lately? Not in about a month since they did that last major patch. I had a poke around because I've got all the early access stuff for it, and I think I picked up the mini DLC they released for it as well. Was planning on doing a video series on it, just never got it started. We'll probably have a poke around on it very soon. Yeah, Dad had it, had eye transplant, and he was on holiday when his body rejected the transplant and he lost vision in one eye. He had another transplant and is recovering well. Yeah, that's why I don't want to have corneal replacement surgery. I'm relatively young, and the chance of an eye, of any kind of transplant actually rejecting never goes away. So the chances of me having to suffer a rejection is almost guaranteed based on my age. Like, I know me saying I'm young, no, I'm not young, but for this condition and how long I'll have to live with it is actually, it's a fairly large gap. So I could technically have corneal replacement surgery. It's not guaranteed that it would make any kind of actual major improvement on what I've got, so that's one reason against it. And the other is I would basically have to take anti-rejection drugs and have that potential risk onwards going for the rest of my life, and that's not great, so I'll just deal with it this way. Have they improved the AI? Depends. Sometimes the AI is really good, sometimes the AI is really shitty. It kind of depends. That one, I'm not sure what that was. That was just me getting my shit kicked in. So I'm going to bring that to a close because there's nothing else I can do now. Those 2 ships are going to get sunk now. So that's kind of embarrassing, but it is what it is. It's the one thing I like about this, actually, so far. I haven't played all the scenarios, and I will not claim to be an expert in Sea-Power or of any way, shape, or form. I've only put in about 40 hours onto it at this point in time, roughly. I'm still working things out, which is a good sign for complexity. But 40 hours into Cold Waters, I had Cold Waters under the thumb hard enough that victories were reliable. Not always guaranteed, but they were reliable. In Sea-Power, they're not. I'm 40 hours in, and occasionally I will just make a slight screw-up, and the AI will just ruin me as a result. And I like that a lot. It's nice to actually have a challenge again. That was actually one of the bigger issues, sort of doing Cold Waters there towards the end. It wasn't that I didn't like Cold Waters anymore, I was just... there was nothing new to do in it, if that makes any sense. I'd kind of done everything that could be done, and I was craving something else, and it just wasn't there. So this has been really good. Alright, let's pick another scenario. What have we got here? Actually, there is one in here. We're talking about Subdual. A fast attack Alpha class submarine is trying to make it to the Atlantic. Los Angeles class SSN is standing to intercept. So let's play some Cold Waters inside Sea-Power. Yes, my shit kicked in. It's an accurate description of what just happened. Captain, VLF transmission indicates Alpha Class SSN is heading to our patrol area. Our orders are to intercept her. Now, this is a more familiar view, isn't it? A little bit more detailed, though. And we're getting the towed array out by default, which is good. Now, the cool part about this over Cold Waters, where Cold Waters you would play on a relatively small map, that's the map for Sea Power. There's no difference between the world map and the play area. It's exactly the same. So, yes, you can absolutely have engagements that are really, really, really large. The downside is you're now dealing with a much larger play area. The whole getting spawned in on a map where you know you're going to likely be within active sonar range of a target, that doesn't exist in Sea Power. So at the moment I have no idea where this alpha is. I can't be guaranteed where this alpha is. It could be close, it could be far away. You're playing over much larger areas at much more realistic times. So all I can do for a start is wait and see what pops up. So what are our current specs? So that's a Flight 1 Los Angeles class. We got Mark 48s because of course. That's about all I need to know there. It is the Baltimore that we are on. Current depth is 255 feet at 5 knots. Saw some similar burnout with Jive Turkey with Cold Waters. There was only so much Cold Waters left that was, well, Sea Power is a great sandbox in every sense of the word, and it's only just released. Yeah, it'll happen to everyone. The Cold Waters is a fantastic game. I thoroughly recommend everybody get it if you have any interest in submarines at all. It is great. But I've got over 600 hours in that game. Which means there's not much left. I've played through and completed basically everything in both the large major mods for it as well. So even modding doesn't really offer me much in it anymore. Like, I've got a lot of hours in that game. I didn't have to think about it. I got so used to the mechanics in the game that I knew what was happening in the maps just by seeing the way things would react. And so, yeah. If you actually handle layers well and ninja properly, Subdual is easy. It's really just a matter of listening more than anything else. If we're hunting an alpha class, finding it shouldn't be too much of an issue. So, speaking of which, where are our layers? Let's dip down below the layout.
3, 4,
You stay at 5 knots and just keep having a bit of a listen. I hope they change the world map to rotate and present you with a flat top-down view for whatever region you're in rather than a single view currently. I don't have any problem with this, the way it is so far. Like, an improved map would always be a nice thing to have, but this is fine for what the game is for the most part. You're only really dealing with the ocean. A improved map would be useful if suddenly you had to start...
Contact detected.
Oh, hello there. A new improved map would be useful if you were starting to deal with more stuff on land, but at the most you're only dealing with the coast. Like, there's one mission in here at the moment, which I actually really like. It's a relatively easy mission, but you're doing shore bombardment during Vietnam. It was the first mission I played, and it is actually really good. Alright, so 17 nautical miles to target. Target depth 480 feet. Speed is 20 knots, heading away. We should probably get a wriggle on then. Change heading. I could see Power getting a lot of the cold waters functionality modded in by the community in the future, to be honest. Yeah, no, it's entirely possible. There is a few things I would like to see from cold waters that I think cold waters does a little bit better, transferred over, and absolutely, the modding community is going to have a field day with this game. And the developers seem to be entirely cool with that, as far as I've seen so far. They're completely open. They seem to be a bunch of developers that are fully aware that the longevity of any game nowadays is dependent on one of two things. If you want your game to last a large time, you either need to be a live service, which has a lot of drawbacks, and there's a lot of really crap live service games out there. That's for a reason. Or you need to be a game that is acceptable to modding.
1 is classified. Hostile submerged submarine.
Yep. So we now should be able to take a look at it. No, you're not going to let me. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you need to be open and acceptable of modding. Any game that does not really support modding or makes modding difficult, that also isn't pushing a live service angle, is a game that's going to have a very limited shelf life. Unless it... I will put an extra bit on that, unless it finds itself in that elite gamer space, which very few games actually get into reliably. And games like this, modding is definitely what they needed to do. Like this is going to be great. Alright, so it's doing 20 knots still and just heading away, so there's not much else for me to do here. I'm actually going to put one on and then get above the layer and change direction. Mark 48.
Engage track 700. Whip it away. Track 700.
It's a long shot into the baffles. Now, change depth, get above the layer.
270. Dive by.
Once we're above the layer, I'll change speed and start closing in. There it is. Much better models than Cold Waters too, although you can see it's the same developers and it's using... I'm positive this is a variant of the same engine. Some good texture work up here showing ripples in the hull. Like you can sort of see down the lines where the supports underneath the active sonar array would be. And that the hull isn't perfectly smooth around. It's very nicely done. I don't think the texture modders are going to have much to do with this game for a little bit, though. The ships and the models and textures are pretty nice. Alright, we are above the layer. Let's go ahead full.
Maneuvering eye.
I've got an okay laptop, really need to get a nice PC for gaming. Depends on what you want to play. If you've got an okay laptop, games like this will run perfectly fine. If you're into things like C-Power, this will borderline run on a potato. It's like Cold Waters. Very low system requirements for the complexity of the game. And when it comes to like a nice gaming PC is nice, but the truth of the point is, unless you're trying to push top-end graphics, you don't really need a current PC. Like if you're playing at 1080p, unless you're trying to push 4K, if you're playing at 1080p and you're happy of going without things like ray tracing and other modern niceties, something like a 10 series card, which is worth like $5 nowadays, will run everything at over 60 FPS now. Or almost everything at over 60 FPS now. It's not unless you're really trying to crank the graphics up to maximum, trying to push everything to the edge, and starting to push high resolutions that you really need anything fast. The PC requirements have not advanced as much as people think. It's slowed down a lot, mainly because developers, it's becoming, well, look at the PC gaming market crashes that are going on at the moment. It's becoming cost prohibitive for developers to be able to make games that can actually push the graphics that are capable on the current gen hardware. They just look at the new Xbox games, the Xbox Series X games, look at the new PS5 games, and go look at the ones at the PS4. Look at the brand new PC games that are out now, 2024 release games, and look at games from 2015 with the graphics turn up. There's a little bit of a gap, but nowhere near as much as you would think over that period of time compared to, say, let's call it 1995 and 2005, where it doesn't look like they're using the same technology. So, yeah, a laptop would run this fine. And depending on what you're trying to get out of a gaming PC, you don't necessarily need a high-spec one. There are some exceptions to the rules. Like if you want to do VR and you want to play something like DCS, then you're going to need something that's got some pretty angry hardware, but that's got more to do with driving the VR in a game like DCS than it does with needing to do it otherwise. It basically triples the system requirements if you wanted to do that. If you're not particularly interested in VR, that's another thing. You can play something like DCS and have the graphics turned up quite a lot, and you won't need much beyond a 10 series to do it. So it's just, yeah, depends on what you're trying to play. Alright, so we're holding 17 knots. Interesting, it doesn't auto retract the towed array. So I'm running at 17 knots with the towed array still out at this point. Yeah, modding for games like this is such a lifeline. Triassic seems to be a bunch of great dudes. Respect both future and critical. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, if they're smart, they will be able to release multiple expansion packs for this. People will pick it up, and then the modding community will use those expansion packs to expand the mods even more, and the game's life will just, you'll get something like Cold War's got what, 8 years reliable between its release and sort of when the community stopped releasing new stuff for it. And that was relatively simple. Something like this, you could pull 10 easy, no problems whatsoever. It's funny, I've seen some videos lately comparing graphics from the last decade. Modern engines appear to be extremely poorly optimized in comparison, generally speaking. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, some of the engines out these days, and actually, it's not even necessarily an engine thing. It's actually, I think, more of a developer thing. Because some of the engines are the same engines. But developers have gotten lazy. They've got access to the kind of power that, say, a 3000 or a 4000 series graphics card can do, has available. So they don't optimize the engine because they know you're going to have that much performance under the hood. So the game runs like shit. And it needs that 4000 series card, 3000 or 4000 series card, not because the graphics are amazing, just because the developers are lazy and they haven't optimized it. This is a big issue in AAA gaming, where they cut a lot of corners. It's why so many AAA games run like crap. But then you actually look at the graphics for them. There's a couple out that the graphics have actually been worse. I forget, there was a video, it was about a month ago, that I watched. And it was a comparison between, I think it included a couple of the Assassin's Creed games and a couple of other like AAA games that have sequence series, and they were looking at the games from like the mid-2010s versus the ones that are released today. And graphically, in a lot of areas, they actually stepped down. Water effects in particular was one of the things that actually got worse, but somehow these newer games performed worse in terms of performance as well. So yeah, there's a lot of it's lazy development. It's flipped to the other side. It's why you'll find a lot of games in the indie space that seem to run on just about anything and look great, because they're really tightly knit together games by developers that are really, really focused on what they want to do. All right, so we're still tagging along behind our torpedo at the moment. But really, though, it's nice to see you. Yeah, man, it's nice to see everybody as well. I missed this. I was ecstatic last night when I realized, holy shit, my speed's now fast enough that I can stream. Yeah, at this point, I've already booked in the new hardware so I can go even faster, and I'm planning, 4 to 5 streams a week now. I'll still get I'll still try and do videos up. I might even change the way I do the videos, because let's be perfectly honest, a lot of the games that I play, I think they would play out better as a stream than they would as a game. So, like, rather than as a dedicated video. So, I'm going to stream a lot of that, and I might change something else, change the videos around a little bit. Like, I'm absolutely going to do a review for MechWarrior 5 Clans, because it's... Actually, no, that's a better way to put it. It is absolutely the best MechWarrior game that Piranha have ever made. Yeah. That works nicely. The tech and fidelity is progress, but the optimization hasn't followed along as it would appear. Well, it's not that the optimization hasn't followed along. It's a matter of, as I said, it's developer laziness. If you're developing a game, and let's say it's 1990, and well, 1990. Let's go 2001. So we're in the early generation of 3D accelerator cards. 3D effects is still a thing at this point in time. Nvidia is not the biggest developer. It's actually more like AMD is nowadays, and there's about half a dozen other graphics card developers as well. And you're making a game. You've got limited hardware resources available on the 3D accelerator cards, and you've got limited hardware resources available in terms of CPU power, RAM, and even hard drive space. Like, the idea of having gigabyte hard drives they existed, but by God, you wanted to have a lot of money. Terabyte was a fantasy. Oh. Active pings. Full stop.
Stop. Maneuvering aye.
Let's go
Ahead
1/3.
1/3. Maneuvering aye.
But yes, you've got very limited hardware resources to work with, but you want to have this game, which looks absolutely amazing, and even by today's standards, still looks pretty good, to run on this really, really, really low-spec hardware by our current standards. So you have to make sure that game is optimized out the arse. You have to make sure the code is tight, you have to make sure everything is tight, so you can even get it to run on people's hardware at that point in time. Fast forward through to today. The actual graphics output that we've got hasn't improved much in 10 years. But I've got a 3D accelerator card over here that's got more RAM than my computer had in it 10 years ago, just on the card, and the CPU in the GPU is faster. That graphics card, I've only got a 3080, and it's faster than my computer 10 years ago that I used to play War Thunder on in terms of its actual hardware. That's the level of power. I've got 128 gig of RAM in this PC. I've got probably 4 terabytes worth of storage on board. So and this is not a current generation computer. I built this in 2000 and in 2020. So this is a 4-year-old rig. So if this is the amount of power that you have access to these days, but the actual graphics, the complexity of the graphics hasn't increased by the rate of the hardware performance that's available, why would you spend the time optimizing it? You've got to pay somebody to optimize a game. It's expensive to get somebody get all that game running tight and running well. Or do you build something that's 150 gig to install on people's PCs and requires a 3080 in order to run because it's optimized like crap, because you know people are going to have the hardware and you don't want to pay the software developers to actually tighten your game up before release? That's what's happening today. It's not that optimization isn't possible, it's just developers don't want to spend money on it, and so they don't. They just rely on you having a machine that has retarded levels of power in order to run something that's not optimized. Essentially, everybody playing a AAA game released today is brute forcing it. We're all playing every game like people were trying to play Crysis back when it first released. Can we get Crysis to run on a 486? Yeah, well, funnily enough, talking about optimization and 486s, my first step into the PC space from the Amiga was a 486, and I got the first StarCraft to run on that. It ran at about 5 frames per second, but it ran through the entire game. I played it to start to finish.
Contact detected.
I played it to start to finish on a 486. I got it to work because I couldn't afford anything else. Actually, I'm going to Salvo 2, 13 nautical miles out.
Track 700. Whip it away. Track 7002.
Set depth, go below the layout.
340. Head 2/3.
Head 2/3.
Maneuvering aye. Contact faded. Track.
Yeah, we've lost it again, but that's okay. I'll put a marker down. Actually, let's go ahead standard.
Maneuvering aye.
I'm going to keep on path for the moment. No need to change.
Hostile submerged submarine. Contacts detected.
Whoa. Okay. Change of plan. What's the play going to be here? That Alpha is just unloading. Alright then. Apparently that first shot was a good one. Well, in that case, let's go very deep.
Depth 114.
Oh no, that's it. It's just going to end it on me. I was going to try and do some fancy maneuvering then, but I guess that's not required. Score 1000%. Nice. To be fair, it was an Alpha. He probably couldn't hear it over his goddamn reactor. Had a bit of a rough start for me. After a lot of tutorials and practice, I managed to find enjoyment and the fun in overcoming the challenge. And get this bad where I can read it a little bit better. And microing a fleet. It's good fun. I particularly like it with the carrier ones so far. That's always been my favourite, when I've got to deal with air power as well. There's not a lot of missions for that, though. Hi back, I'm front. Hey, Sea Dotters. I upgraded my PC from a 1080p to a 360 overclocked edition, Ryzen 3 2300 and Ryzen 5 5600, 8 gig DDR4, 32 gigs of RAM. Yeah, that's a good system. That is a damn good system. Yeah, that'll run shit. That'll VR half the games as well. That's a pretty nice machine. And not overly expensive by the current standards these days as well. And you'll run basically everything, providing you're not, as I said, if you want to ray trace at 4K, which is, at this point in time, I'm yet to see very many games where, like even something like Cyberpunk, if you can ray trace at 4K in Cyberpunk, it looks amazing, but it doesn't really affect the gameplay all that much, and it doesn't look so much more amazing than it does without it. But yeah, if you're not interested in doing that, yeah, that's a system that would budget in quite nicely for most people, and it'll run everything all the way up to release today. First time I found any stream less than 1 hour after it started, but I've been loving playing Seapower, and I'm really hyped for the campaign, especially the mod campaigns. Yeah, you and me both. Like, playing these little scenarios is fantastic, but this is a game that is calling out for a campaign, but potentially even a real-time campaign where you might have to deal with assets all over the world rather than, sort of location to location. The possibility of running into a situation where you're having to deal with two simultaneous engagements happening in two completely different parts of the world, and it could get complex, but that could be a lot of fun. Be able to use the assets from one potentially to influence a fight that's happening somewhere else. There's a lot of potential in this. Also, from what I've seen, indie games tend to have less realistic and more stylized graphics, although I don't know how that translates to hardware use. Usually it translates better. Photorealistic is the most expensive thing that you can do with hardware, and in my opinion, it's actually a mistake that AAA games developers keep making. Name some games, just pause for a moment and consider. Name some games that you can think of off the top of your head that have been running for periods of longer than 10 years. That have also been immensely popular. There's a couple that'll pop into your head. One of the big ones is obviously World of Warcraft. It's still kicking around today. It's fucking, how long has that been running for? I don't even know it. I used to play it a lot. The graphics are completely stylized inside of that game. They're very cartoony, but that helps with age. World of Warcraft doesn't look that much worse today. It doesn't look really that much better or that much worse than it did 10 years ago. But that's not a drawback on it. That stylization means that it's kind of ageless. It looks good at all times. If you stylize a game the right way, it always looks good, whether it's photorealistic or not. Another good example from an indie scene would be Project Wingman. They've stylized the graphics around the planes. Obviously, they're based on real aircraft, but they've stylized the graphics for the way that game renders itself just a little bit, to the point where that game's going to look good 10 years from now. It'll be perfect. Speaking of which, I've got the expansion for that too, so I have to play that. But yeah, it'll look good 10 years from now. It'll still be fantastic. And that, again, also applies over if you look at the Ace Combat games, which it's based on. Again, they've pushed Ace Combat 7, amazing looking game, but there's just a touch of stylization in the design of everything, so that you can jump onto it right now, and it's been out, 4 years, 5 years? Still looks great. And it'll still look great 5 years from now. Where a game that's designed to be photorealistic, that's really trying to push the edge, but isn't pushing that stylization, 5 years from now, it's going to look dated because it's going to be comparing itself against the next game that's trying to push that graphical edge. And you'll see the gap. Almost every single game out there that does good stylization winds up looking better and having their graphics last longer than games that try and push to be as photorealistic as possible. And they're almost always cheaper to make. Or at least that's my opinion. At least on how it looks. They're always cheaper to make. Now, thanks, man. Good advice. Like buying a supercar for an 80-mile-an-hour country. Yeah, exactly. It comes with any of your PC hardware. If you're looking to buy anything, it just comes down to what you want to do. If you're looking for VR, you're looking for 4K, and you want ray tracing, yeah, you're going to have to fork out some big bucks for a machine. But if you've got a 1080p monitor in front of you and you just want to play current games, you can do it on a budget, and you can get some really nice gear at a really nice budget and get some really good frame rate. You might have to have the graphics set to medium. Hell, at 1080p you might still be able to get them to high, and you just might not have the ray tracing options. Or maybe you can get yourself into a low-end ray tracing card, and you will have the ray tracing options, but they won't be quite as good as the ones on the current card. But you're playing at 1080p, so it doesn't matter. It depends on what you've got and what you want to do. Was wondering why the video was finished. Took me a few minutes to notice it's live. Yes, I'm hoping this will be a constant thing. Play the Silent Dagger workshop mission. I want to see whether or not you survive in the sub and how many ships and subs you sink. I'll have to dig that one up. We will have to dig that one up. I'll grab another scenario while we're sitting here. What do we got here? Battle of the Bowl Sim. Problem with these is most of them are missing text, so I'm not exactly sure what they're about. Israeli Navy and the Egyptian Navy versus the Kippur War. The battle erupted when 6 Israeli Sarah-class missile boats heading towards Port Said were engaged by 4 Egyptian Osa-class missile boats coming from Alexandria. That seems kind of topical. Let's do that. Considering what's going on in the world these days. Battle of Baltim. Welcome, Commander. This mission, your primary objective is to find and sink a group of enemy missile boats heading towards you. General orders. Alright, we'll pull this to a pause. I'll just quickly go through the rest of the chats. I just wanted to extend my thanks. I found Bex, your series, and it inspired me to go back to Battletech since playing it last, taking up a tabletop game. It's absolutely fantastic. I've really got to get some miniatures and start getting back into painting. I was planning on starting that a year ago, and then medical things happened, and I didn't. But I really need to now. Yeah, Battletech's fantastic. Unfortunately, there's a couple of people that are in charge of the IP at the moment that are terrible, but I don't blame the universe for that. I just don't buy... Well, I sort of buy their shit. Piranha gets part of my money. But that's because I'm an idiot, so that's how it is. Between tabletop and your videos, I've gotten a lot better, and I'm really enjoying the game more than any game in the last few years. Yeah, Battletech is fantastic. The biggest shame of of Battletech, particularly like the PC game, is that they decided that they were only going to do it once. They weren't going to do a sequel. That was a game that was desperately calling for a sequel. A Battletech 2 would have done really well, but they chose not to. The Long Dark, yep, The Long Dark's a perfect example of a game that's a bit stylized. And hello, Ryan. Project Wingman has a DLC. Yep, Project Wingman has a DLC. It's only about 5 missions, but they're decently sized missions, but it only costs about $7. It's it plays, you get to play a different section of a different perspective on one part of the campaign. I haven't played through it yet, I just know that much. Hey Minty, yes, I am back, and yes, I'm doing quite well at the moment.
New surface contact detected.
Alright. Right, let's have a quick look at what we've got here. Well, we've actually got a few boats. Pretty wide spread out. 3 groups of 2. Okay, so that's their order. Yeah, alright, so they're ordered as they are, at least for the moment. EM mission. Alright, MCON.
Air search on.
Air search and surface search.
Radar eye. Air search on. Surface search on. Radar eye.
I'll go those 2. Actually, we'll turn 4.
Air search on. Radar eye. Air search on. Radar eye.
What are our ships? Sarah 4 class. Just double checking what we've got. Sarah 4, so it's the same.
Turn to course.
No, don't turn to course. Keep going that way.
5, 8, hell my. Turn to course. 2, 5, 8, hell my. Turn to course. 2, 6, 1, hell my.
Sarah 2s. Okay, so we have 2 different boats here. I'm not familiar with these, so I'm just going to have a quick reference. Right, Sarah 4s are bigger, 58 meters over 45. Same speed. Nearly double the displacement. Neptune air search. Navigational. ESM. Okay. Both running Gabriel 2s. Gabriel 2 anti-surface missiles. Range 0.85 to 20 nautical miles. 75mm gun, 40mm L70, and you've got a 20mm as well. So they're not super different boats, one heavier than the other. What are yous? Sarah 3s, so different boat again. Looks like very similar to the Sarah 2s. Gabriel 2, 75mm. Okay, so sort of a mix. Okay. Alright, these two I'm going to keep MCON. We'll go active on these. Let them hunt. Let these two come down the side, potentially engage. So I'm not revealing everything all at once. Because we're going active on everything, I will go weapons free on these four, keep weapons tight on the southern two boats. Open top, basically angry patrol boats. Request for an identifier. INS Miscav. Simon, hi Mags, cannot stay long, but good to see you streaming again. Yep, don't worry mate, I will be streaming a lot more in the future. This looks like it might be a permanent change. Still quietly hoping for a new Mech Commander RTS. You and me both. We need a Mech Commander 3. We have a whole bunch of IPs sitting underneath Microsoft at the moment, and it's shitting me that nobody's using them. Buster, so nice to see you back. I struggle with this game. I don't know the weapons and ships and subs very well. That said, I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, it's got a learning curve. Any kind of advanced strategy like this is going to have a learning curve to it. It'll just take time. I can't run Stalkem 2 or Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. My rig has the bare minimum for it. That sucks. Stalker 2 is good. I've been playing a bit of that. I've got that installed on at the moment. Yeah, really enjoying that. Not enjoying trying to find somebody to fix my damn guns at this point in time. Everything's broken. And I'm in a bad spot for repairs. And Kingdom Come 2, yeah, this is one of the things that I've been happiest about. This change with the net connection means when Kingdom Come 2 comes out in February, I'll be able to live stream the whole thing. And I've been killing to play that again. Speaking of miniatures, just messing around with some kit-built model trains abroad. Now I've lost the nuts holding it together. Well, they would be non-standard size, wouldn't they? Like really small for your model trains. They'd be hard to find replacements for. No going down to the hardware store to get those. Time for glue. Yep. Hey boobies. Yep, I am doing great, mate. This has been a good couple of days. I'm gonna get some time acceleration on here and see if somebody wants to try and kill me. So I'm moving at 20 times at the moment.
New surface contact detected.
Alright, something's bouncing around there. So picking up the EM emissions. Solid location. Something is there. Alright, I'm going to change.
Turn to course, 27. Turn to course, 271. How am I?
They can keep on as is. I'm going to bracket these guys. Times at the moment.
New surface contact detected.
Right. there is 4. So, 20 nautical miles, 18, 20, 24. So there was 4 ships that were supposed to be engaging, so that looks like them. I don't know whether or not we're supposed to get a solid ID on them, or we're just supposed to engage. Although the fact that they've got active radar up tells me that they're not civilian. Is this the new Harpoons? Apologies if this has been asked already. Technically, yes. If it was anything, the spiritual successor to Harpoon would be a pretty accurate description. Still closing, 10 times acceleration. Alright, we're down to 10. No engagement as yet.
Track 7003 is classified. Neutral, merchant.
Oh, I am so lucky I did not shoot. And that goes out my whole, oh, they've got radar, they won't be civilians thing, because that's a civilian, and it had radar going. Pretty sure it had radar going. Regardless, I really don't want to put a missile in that, so he's not identifying himself.
Track 7002 is classified. Neutral, merchant. Track 7004 is classified. Neutral, merchant.
A fleet of fishing boats. But you won't respond.
Turn to course 255. Turn to
Closing to
course
find out what they are.
247. Turn to course 24. Turn to course 250. Hell am I?
That's interesting. Where the hell are the Egyptians? Also, another question. Why the hell are the Japanese fishing in that area? Yeah, we got 2 Japanese fishing boats just off North Africa. Alright, let's get some speed on. Close in and find out what our unidentified is.
New surface contact detected.
We have a visual on this one. Visual, MCON.
Air search on. Radar high.
Uh-oh.
Multiple surface contacts detected. Track
We've got 'em.
7005 is classified. Hostile. War engaging track 7005. Salvo fire.
Hold on launching. Weapons free. Weapons free. Huh. So our sneaky guys may have just found the whole fleet. To be fair, they were being reasonably sneaky considering how close they got.
Vampire, bearing.
Chaff.
Chaff out. Turn to course.
Turn
227. Ahead flank. Maneuvering eye. Ahead flank. Turn to course. 225. Hell high.
Gabriel 2, Salvo 2.
Engaging track 700. Turn to course. 23. Turn to course. 230. Hell my. Ahead flank. Maneuvering eye. Turn to course.
These two need to turn south
course.
as fast as
2,
possible.
1, 5. Ahead flank. Maneuvering eye. Ahead flank. Maneuvering eye. Hit track 7005.
Alright, looks like it took the chaff. Unless it's going for a second boat. No, it's out of there.
Vampire, bearing. Engaging track
For the love of God, will you
7005. Engaging track 7005.
You know you can select weapons chaff from the bottom bar. Yeah, I like seeing the list though. Well, alright, I'll click on the bottom bar if it makes you feel happier.
Bulldog away. Track 7005.
Again, missiles missed. One of the missiles outgoing, secondary missiles coming in. Salvo 2. You cannot hit. Really? You can't hit? Damn it.
Contact faded. Track.
Chaff and chaff again.
Bulldog away. Track 7005.
Come on. Pop that as fast as you can. There's the missile.
Vampire, bearing.
Looks like we've missed another one. That's getting really uncomfortable. As our Gabriel 2s. They're on the deck.
Bulldog away. Track,
Actually, good point. I completely forgot about the ECM.
7005. Engage track 1010.
we've got one.
We're sinking. All hands abandoned ship.
Shit, they got one of ours too. Alright.
Engaging track.
I'm just going to assume all these ships in this area are hostile. Still not in range.
Contact faded. Engage track 7008. Bulldog away. Track 7007.
Chaff again. Another missile defeated.
Bulldog away. Track, engaged. Hit track 7005.
Shit, I didn't realize these guys were on the fire.
Flooding beyond control. Abandoning ship.
I didn't even see one come in on that one.
Track 7007 is classified. Hostile warship.
Oh wait, no, that's the one who got hit before, so it's just him finally going down. Fine. You stay.
Engage track 7021. Engage track 7007. Turn to course 306. Hell my. Hit track 7007.
Hey V, thank you very much, man. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Hope you enjoy the streams coming in more often too. Oh, we are so back. Yes, we are.
Turn to course 28.
Shaft again. And it looks like the Gab 2 is going to miss. Yep. Damn it. Alright.
Engage track 7007. Turn to course 25. Bulldog away.
The standard, so you'll make the turns.
7008. Engaging track 7008.
The hell are you ECMing over there for?
Engage
Oh, wait.
track 7007.
Almost in range. We almost get another ship in.
Turn to course 277. Hell my. Cap
Shaft
out.
again. Come on, make the turn, make the turn. How are we looking? Oh, that's not great. Our Gab 2s are looking a little better though.
Hit track 700. Bulldog away. Track 70.
Okay, I didn't order that shot, but that's an explosion in the distance, so we've got one. It looks like we've defeated... Looks like we defeated those missiles. Got another one coming in. Got them. course.
Turn to course. 251. Hell my.
I really want you to identify yourself sitting up there. Chaff again. He didn't get away that last time. Friggin' hero boat though. He got 2 targets and looks like he got the 3rd.
Hit track 7007.
So that is likely our final target.
Course 251. Hell my. Engage track 700. Engage track 7006. Flooding beyond control. Abandoning ship.
Oh. They got escape boats out. So we've lost 2 ships at the moment for 3. We've only got 1 left. I want to know what that is. Why?
Turn to course 252. Hell my. Ahead, turn to course 215.
Not identifying
Hell my.
myself. Alright, we've got 6 Gabriels and 8 Gabriels.
Engage track.
Target's not identified, but I'm going to put 1 into it anyway.
Engaging track 700. Warthog away. Track 7006.
This is away.
Warthog away. Track 7006. Track 7001 is classified. Neutral merchant.
Finally, we have an ID.
Turn to course 21. Ahead flank. Maneuvering eye.
Could have just said something there. I think we might be good here. I think.
Track 7006 is classified. Hostile warship.
Well, it'd be really bad if that was identified as a civilian about now.
Hit track 7006.
An impact on target. If we destroy it, it should suddenly become identified. So this is what happens if you haven't fully identified the ship. You hit it, we know we hit the target, we know it's a hostile.
Track 700.
Now the ships are just auto-firing on their own. They're going to keep plugging it until it stops moving, but that should be it. Pretty much done. 2 missiles in. F's in chat for the Harev. An absolute little hero boat who unfortunately got taken out by that last missile.
7006.
And these two are really taking it personally. And actually, the whole fleet's taking it personally. The guys up north have just got in on this as well. Would be interesting if someone would make a Dance of the Vampire scenario for Sea Power. Well, they absolutely can now. I'll show after this. There's a full mission creator already included in, with the idea being that you can create as many complex missions as you want, and then share them on the workshop via Steam. So somebody could absolutely do that. This should be
Hit track 7006.
What is this thing made out of? The Gabriel's Wish.com anti-ship missiles. It's taken 3 of them at the moment. I don't think it's a particularly big boat. Oh, there we go. It must have just died. Yep, it just died. You can see it's gone black in there. Well done, Commander. Enemy forces are destroyed. Good job. There it is.
Hit track
Shit, it's already half underwater.
7006.
Yeah, they're having a really, really, really bad day there. Press against that one. There we go. Free cam. Alright, there we go. I've never done that one before. That was alright. That surprised me, trying to be sneaky down the bottom and wind up running into their entire fleet while having a bunch of fishing boats up here. I can see what they tried to do with that, though. You're supposed to detect those first, see them, immediately launch missiles at them, and wind up killing 4 civilian fishing boats and lose the mission before you even begin. That's sneaky, but I like that. Alright. So, decisive victory. We destroyed all 4 of their ships. We lost 2 of ours, both of our SAR 3 class. 200% score. So we could improve on that a little bit, try and get the SAR 3s to survive. One of them went down really easily, although to be fair, the Harev did a really good job. Like, MVP, easily. Alright, catch you later, Simon. So, yeah, as I was saying before, you've got the mission editor up here, which is a fairly complex little piece of kit. Not in complex to use, it's really straightforward to use, but you're able to put together some fairly complex mission structures with this, so there's absolutely nothing stopping you from putting together just about anything you want. You've got a fairly wide selection of aircraft you can drop in, ships, the works, set up different groups, set up triggers, mission briefings. It's not all that far off something like the DCS editor, to be perfectly honest. Maybe not quite as complex, but it's got a lot to it. And I could absolutely see the mission editor itself actually being modded in exactly the same way as the game is to add more to it. So, yeah, you can create just about any situation you want. It's only area it's particularly limited on is the land forces. You do have access to some land grouping that you can put down, but it's a game called Sea Power, you know. I think it was Jingles trying this mission that mentioned that apparently it's a real battle and the Israeli ships survived. A lot of these are. There's some of them that are fantasy, but a lot of the scenarios that you see, if you read the briefings on them, it'll give you a year and a time, and they're actually based on real scenarios that did actually occur. And, oh, that mission editor looks nice. Yeah, it is. I haven't tinkered with it much beyond having a cursory look. I've just been enjoying playing the missions for the moment. But it seems entirely usable, and it's right there out of the box, even in early access. And that's basically what the idea is. Make missions, play them for yourself, but the idea is you'll also be able to share the missions that you make on the Steam Workshop, so anybody else can come through and just find more missions and download more scenarios. So they've already got, this is what I meant before, they've already sort of got a community focus inbuilt already to get the community to make things and expand on things, so they'll absolutely be supporting modding. as well as, you know, you being able to do your own mission designs and just have the community itself slowly build out more and more complex things over time. It's a really good way of doing things, and they've done a really nice job. I mean, Mod Manager is available from the word go. Triassic's doing it right. Triassic is doing it right. And yeah, I think this is it's gonna last a long time. You'll be able to do a lot with this. Anyways, ladies and gents, it is 11:56, so it is nearly midnight. I am probably going to be streaming over the next couple of days as well. I'm not entirely sure when yet. This is all fairly new, so I haven't got a schedule or anything sorted out. I will say that the stream quality should jump up again in terms of stability as of about Monday or Tuesday next week, because that's when I'm getting a hardware upgrade that should significantly improve things even beyond what they are now. However, this is how it's going to be now. So I will be getting some videos uploaded now too, so I'm going to try and get the next MechWarrior 5 clans up tomorrow. Might even try and get the next 3 up over the next 3 days, and then stream in between the uploads. And that will get me up to date to where I've got recorded for the moment. And then I might actually finish MechWarrior 5 clans up in a stream as well, because then we can run through and we can play through the rest of the game, or at least most of it, in one big session. And that should play through nicely and bring it to a close. Because at the moment, this was supposed to be done. MechWarrior 5 Clans was all supposed to be uploaded by now, but the constant interruptions of my ability to upload has basically handicapped me from being able to do that. It would be nice to catch up. But anyway, guys, I'm going to call it here. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, guys, take care.